Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the single player Let's Play series. I think we're on episode 49 at this point. So in between episodes, I think you've probably seen, why isn't this shut? That's weird. That's supposed to be open to keep the bugs out. Weird. I guess I left too quick. I don't know. That's weird. Anyways, as you saw in between episodes, I did make myself an infinity drill, and I've been using that to do some mining to try to get more netherite. But I found that getting netherite that way really wasn't all that fun. So I did do a couple of things in between episodes. Mainly, I set up an infinity or a what are they called? A laser miner in the nether, and we set it up so that it would go and harvest a bunch of the netherite, or ancient debris, I suppose you'd call it. So I left it running for a bit, and as you can see, we have 1.1k ancient debris, and I also processed a little bit of it, so we have 653 netherite scraps available to us as well. So that's an insane amount. I don't think we're ever going to need any more than that. If we do, I can go put it back down. I broke it and brought it with me because we had more than enough, and I didn't want to just leave it running and taking up power. But I thought it would be pretty cool. So I went ahead and did that and thought it was neat. I did some cleaning up around the house, kind of made this cool little eatery and made some friends around here, did some cleanup. And, oh, there is one thing. I don't know how I didn't notice this, but as you know, we've been harvesting these glass spines from more minecarts using just the smelting, or the, photogenic insulator recipe here. So it's a 12% chance to get a glass spine, and then you'll only ever get the one Vitric cactus back, so you can recycle it. And so this is one way of growing these automatically without having to put it in a desert climate, because as you can see in the tooltip, you have to harvest these and plant these in Vitric cactus desert climates, which is not very fun. So to work around that, we've got this photogenic insulator recipe, and I was looking and I realized that they can be smelted directly into glass, and it doesn't actually take 10 seconds like it says it does. So now the glass recipe here that we have loaded up, if we take a look at just making a piece, you'll see it's now going to use glass spines, and now we can just skip straight from A to B, and it's already done. Pretty cool. So, for this episode, I have a couple of ideas that we can go through. I want to go ahead just for fun and just to kind of clean up the quest line. And it has its purposes. I don't really think we're going to need it here in this world because we have our jackhammer. But I'll go ahead and make the Infinity Axe just because I want to kind of wrap everything up, bring everything to a close. So let's go ahead and get that done really quickly. So let's see, at Industrial Axe. Well, where is it? I've noticed a lot of weird issues with JEI lately, and I'm guessing this is probably one of them. So if we take a look at the recipes in here. Nope, my JEI is just outright bonked right now. Okay, there we go. It's behaving really strangely. The latest JEI update was not worth doing, to be honest. It's caused quite a bit of mess. But here we go. The Infinity Saw is what we want to make. Yeah, it does not show up when you search saw at all. I have the other variants hidden, but I noticed the other day when I was playing that they weren't hidden like they were supposed to be, and then today they are all hidden, which is not at all what's supposed to happen. I'm uber confused at this point with what's going on there. So let's come over here really quickly. I don't think I'm going to teach netherite gears just because that's so extra. I really don't see a need for that. So we will come over here and do this to get another right gear. And so now everything else we need here is going to be saw blade. We're going to need a couple of diamond axes. Some diamond gears would be good. I think we actually have the recipes for those. Yep, we do. Let's see. And at this point, it's just 2 blocks of steel, right? That's not too bad. Be nice if we had a better way of making steel. I think we should probably get into that soon. With automating steel crafting would be probably a good idea. But hey, we'll get there. We'll make, tiny strides as we go. Try to make things a little better for us as we slowly progress. And we've actually been doing a really good job, in my opinion. I think this pack has been progressing at a pretty good pace, considering it's meant to be sort of like a hardcore pack to some degree. So we'll do that, and that's going to get us our infinity axe. Saw, rather. And there we go. So the infinity saw, same exact thing. You can see it has an AoE. It has a really cool model. It does a decent bit of damage too. It starts out at 4, but of course that goes up pretty quickly. And if I remember correctly, tree chopping off. If I remember correctly, if we came over here, I don't know what that sound was. That's actually very foreboding. And we turn charging off. I don't remember if it works like the axe of the stream. It's been a minute. Yeah, so it works kind of like the old axe of the stream from way back when, in Thaumcraft. So it cuts down the tree from the top down, and so it works kind of in interesting ways like this. But it also works for large connected swaths of trees. So like if you have a forest, for example, it'll start to take the whole tree down like that. And so now you'll see that as I start to do this, it has randomly decided to stop working at that point, which is super strange. So yeah, it seems to... I think this might be a conflict with HT's tree chop, actually. Not particularly sure, to be honest. Super weird. Anyways, I'm going to go see if I can figure out what that sound was. I have one hunch, and one hunch that I don't like at all. And that sound could have been that turning on the infinity saw killed the stasis chamber. And that was the wither being let loose in here. Yep. That's exactly what it was. All of our machines just got destroyed from that. Well, that's okay. You know what? We have plenty of ether gas. Yeah, that's okay. Definitely unfortunate, but... what can you do? At least we figured out what the sound was. That was my first hunch after I realized what had gone on. But it looks like we got to keep our upgrades, our flux providers. I'm surprised it was allowed to destroy all those tile entities, though. That legitimately shocks me. But, I mean, look, we've got tons of ether gas there. If I switch it over to fluid mode, you'll see we have 2,000 buckets of ether gas. I think we've got plenty. So, such is the end of an era, I guess, of wither gas excavating, I guess, or harvesting. Not really sure. Anyways, not the biggest deal in the world. Now, today, it would have been really nice to get those lasers back, at least, because I was ready to use them, but that's okay. Today, we're going to get into something different anyways. So we are going to work on getting up an infinity oil miner. So I've talked about this before, I think, but oil can be turned into rocket fuel, or rather, normal fuel, heavy and light fuel, which can be then processed, or heavy and light oil, I'm sorry, which can then be processed into fuel. Fuel it happens to be how we get to space. You can also now, with Create Crafts and Additions, use it to burn a blaze burner. You can also use it to make a decent bit of power. So today, I wanted to get infinite oil, because, well, who doesn't? And as you can see, all of the oil is showing up. This is another bug with the new JEI that's driving me insane. And you can see that you can actually get infinite oil pretty easily. You can, of course, drain tanks and stuff. That's fine. You can centrifuge, sand, whatever. That's not really that interesting. You can buy it with emeralds, and we are harvesting emeralds infinitely. So this is one way. But this is the way that I'm going to go for, and that's using a laser drill and another fluid laser base. I think this will be a pretty good way to go about it. We'll use a black laser lens for this. So we can go ahead and reuse our existing black or brown laser lens for this. I don't see a reason why we wouldn't. We've got brown and we've got purple. Brown was for the netherite. Or rather, I should say the ancient debris mining. So that will help us there. We'll get ourselves another laser drill. It'd be really nice if I could auto-craft a lot of these things. And for now, by the way, I'm going to put the infinity saw in our system because I really don't need it quite yet. And you saw it was acting a little bit oddly, so no need to really try to push it if we've already got our jackhammer, which does more than enough for us anyway. I want to make sure that that's working right. I feel like we're getting some weird power shortages or surges. I'm not really sure what's going on. It's a little wonky, Anyway, so we're going to need, the usual series of frames here. So let me go ahead and get those done really quickly, and I shall return. And I did just kind of have an idea. Let me see. Maybe we can do this. Since we don't need this anymore, what we could do, what would be really nice to have, is to have 3 of these, or maybe 1, 2, 3. I'm not actually sure how I would do it. Let's do that and get one more. Because what we could do is we could move these away out of this. Maybe. I think that could be fun, and we can automate these. So let's try that out. I think that could be worthwhile. Sorry, I've been kind of back and forth here, but I just wanted to make sure that I was kind of looking at everything right. And, I realize we don't have to... I don't think with refined storage we have to do fluid export. I think we can just leave it be. So let's give that a try. I think that could be super fun. And I think that would be kind of cool to do something a little bit different as well, So let's give that a try real quick. I don't want any of the fluids to go to waste from the ether gas because we now are on a very finite amount. So let's grab just, I don't know if this will work actually, but let's try it. Do you have anything? No. Yeah, okay, so that emptied out all the ether gas. Perfect. And so what we'll do is we can... I think for the sake of ease of use, I will probably still export and have these allocated to what they will be, what kinds of fluids they can craft with. But that still isn't that big of a deal. And so we can do just like that, and then we can do just like that. Whoops, nope, like that. There we go. And so, of course, now we can label them a little bit differently, and we will need to get power to them still. So what we can do is we can grab some more of these. And just have this come straight down into the enchanter, I guess. Disenchanter, which, I'm actually going to remove this, because I think this should go somewhere else, in my opinion. It doesn't really make sense that it's where it is. And so we can just kind of put some of these lab blocks back like so. And that should do it. And we'll do that right there. And we will put this behind like so. And that's going to get everything powered up. And so now we can do, we've got crafters behind, right? Or we can do that. And then we will need probably 2-dimensional chests. I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra space here. Not too terribly much, but something at least. So we'll do you, and you. And then we have our crafters here. So we'll have you here, here, and here. I'll move you here. I think that'd just be the easiest route at this point. And we can go ahead and route this up like so. And like so. And then again, once more, like so. So that is that much already just kind of taken care of there. I think we'll just kind of leave this room like that for now. We'll have dimensional chests to put away items, right? So we'll have you and you for export. And so what we'll do is we'll tell you to go there. And then if I were to put... I don't think I have an extra speed. Oh, I do have an extra speed upgrade. Okay, we'll go with that. But if I put those in here, yep, they're going to get sorted. Perfect. So what we'll do lastly... Come on. It's an interesting combination of keys I'm having to press here. There we go. So this is going to be our pink slime. So if we come here and do type fluids, export pink slime, and then this will be our latex. So we'll do type fluids, export latex, and type fluids, export ether gas. So that's going to export, and we'll tell the fluid inputs to, I guess we'll just tell it to accept. So we'll go ahead and configure those like so. And then the item inputs will come in from the back like so. And then the item outputs will go out to either the left or the right. So this guy will push to the left. You can push, it doesn't matter. So I'll probably just do to the left. And then you will push your outputs to the right like so. And so that should be auto crafting for the better part of this, at least, because you know it's always going to be a little bit complicated, I guess, to fully auto craft a lot of things. So you know we'll take what we can get here. I don't think it's that big of a deal to have a couple of kind of not really oddities, but definitely some differences in this setup compared to my usual ones. So let's take the portal back and start programming in some recipes, because I'm really getting tired of making these stinking frames. They're the worst. So let's go ahead and come over here and look at the industrial frame. So we already know how to make the simple frame. We don't know how to make this one yet. So we'll do this. And if I hit plus, it's going to want to send over latex as a fluid. Just go ahead and shift click to remove that because we already have latex going in there. Then the next tier up is this one, right? And again, same thing. Don't do this yet. And we'll do it like so. I need to teach the system how to make I need to do arc furnace autocrafting is the truth of the matter here. Is arc furnace autocrafting should be higher up on my priority list than it is. But if we do that, then I'll tell it, hey, 1 block equals 5, and I'll tell how to make a block out of 4, and then it'll know to automatically loop it for us going forward. So that will be okay for now, because we're not going to use a lot of unobtainium. We have a lot still left around. So that should help. And then we'll do the last tier frame really quickly, which is going to be ether gas and everything else here. So that will walk us through the 3 different tiers of fluids. And because all 3 of them are just going to be named dissolution chamber in the crafter grid, I'm going to actually have to go back here at least for the first time and like manually program these really quickly. So that will be for you. Wait, no, that's the pink slime one. So that will be you. And then I guess probably the top is the easiest one. Yeah, I should have just done this one. And so this one is going to be latex. So that'll be the basic tier. Come on, basic tier. And then that'll be the advanced tier. Forgot to put in the speed upgrades. So we'll do that. And I forgot to put in the speed add-ons here for the machines themselves. And voila. So now we should be able to request the different tiers of industrial machine frames. So we have the need for quite a few of these. So let's go ahead and look at the frames, or rather not at frame, but just frame. And let's craft, let's see, 4 of these should be fine. And so that should start to send everything over into one of these once it's done. I have no idea where we are right now on the crafting process. It looks like we're still getting some stuff ready. And so that's going to start sending stuff over. And it's actually pretty decently intelligent about auto crafting. So I'm not too terribly concerned. You can see it's going to have to fill up. So for most of these recipes, it's going to be really straightforward to do this. And again, I don't see any major concern. We might run into the same issues that we ran into with our create auto smithing setup, where we have to wait for one craft to finish before the next one goes through, but I really don't foresee that. And so now we can actually just dive straight into the laser drills, and we can start to actually make some progress, which is really nice that we don't have to wait for things. And we'll do that to craft some more. And now for the fluid laser base, we now know most of those things as well. So if I come over here and say, make me all of this, It's going to make that simple machine frame. No, it already had one spare. That's right. Did I only ask for 3? I thought I asked for 4. Oh, it used one. Right, it used one. That's totally fair. So now this should be doable, right? So we can do one of these pretty quickly. So that's the fluid laser base, and we'll make one more set of ingredients for that guy. Again, super, super fast. Very, very effective. I'm tickled. This is very nice to have. Did not expect to autocraft this episode, to be honest. I was just kind of tired of it. So glad that we did. And so now that is 4 laser drills. We have some pipes. We have, we're going to need tanks again. I think we already have one, which is plenty for now because we already have a tank. I just have to go figure out what the configuration is for it and copy that. I wish we could copy them a little more easily, but that's okay. So you are frequency 5. That's right. Okay. So why don't we... I wish I had somewhere that I could write these things in. But why don't we make a new tank? I don't want to use that one. Not quite yet. What are y'all getting hurt on? Or are you just falling a lot? Ooh, globe though. Globes are good. Very big fan of globes. So, we were on frequency 5. And so if we quickly grab one more tank. Clean up our inventory a little bit. So private on frequency 5, change. And there we go. So that is going to be where our oil goes into. So now we just need a chunk loader. We need ways to get a hold of sheesh, I am at a loss for words right now. What? Oh, we need ways to get a hold of our energy, right? Ways to tap into it, right? So we need a flux provider, which we have plenty of now that they were mostly destroyed by our wither. Actually, let's grab one more of these, and I'll go ahead and show you what I was thinking for the enchantment extractor. We've got that little enchantment nook over here that's just sitting out here ready to get destroyed by Mother Nature itself. It might be fun to put it over here. I kind of think it would make most sense for it to live over here. So I may in fact like tuck it into somewhere. I'm not really sure where. So I'm thinking it could probably just get away with going... I don't want to put it there because there's this tilled grass here that's going to make it visible. That there's a block missing underneath, so that does still kind of stump me with the question. I guess we could just do that and put the enchantment extractor there. I don't love that, though. It could also just live in the ground. I mean, you know. I don't think that looks too bad. It doesn't really fit the theme of this area anyway, so kind of doing the best I can with what I've got. So, let's go ahead, clean that up. We've got our chunk loader. We can access most everything we need from here anyways. And we're going to need a bunch of blocks. So let's grab something really easy to break, like dirt. That's fine. And let's find ourselves an ocean, because we're going to need, if you look at this, we're going to need either a desert, actually, or an ocean, or cold ocean, etc. And we're nearby what I have to assume is probably ocean, so it might be worth just putting it right over here and keeping this very short and sweet. But let us take a look, because, oh my god, why are there so many bees? Why on earth are there so many bees? Do not get me wrong, I am very pleased by all the bees, but this is why bees have been causing so much lag for me. Because I noticed that there were a large number of bees, but I couldn't figure out where as I was debugging my performance. Why are there so many bees? I love this, but like that's... I want to do a command really quickly, so let's do effect give at E type equals B, glowing, for like once. There's 450 bees. There's 450 bees in this area. I wanted an exact count, and that's an easy way to get an exact count. Why are there so many bees? What is happening? What did I do to deserve such a blessing of so many bees? I mean, how do bees breed on their own? They don't, right? You have to breed them. Weird. I did notice this with otters as well, so I'm not sure if otters are just wonky or what. Very weird. Anyways, this is a Minecraft ocean, so we're just gonna put this here. I'm terrified about what's going on with the chunk loaders or with the bees. I have no idea either which way, to be honest. There are so many bees, it's actually breaking the sound engine. I may have to dismiss these bees. Let me capture a few, because I know I've also got bees. So let's grab my mob imprisonment tool, and we'll rebead them. We'll rebreed some bees. But I hate to say we may have to use commands to get rid of some bees. I really hate doing this, but this is just impossibly laggy, because they all have particles. All right, close your eyes, kids. Okay, you saw nothing. Ignore the chat. I don't normally do that, but clearly that was a glitch, and so I don't want to put my poor world up against that. You can see the frame rate has already cleared up significantly. And my audio engine is now back to behaving like a good audio engine. I have no idea what caused that. If anyone knows, I'd be interested. A couple versions ago, I updated the chunk loaders mod, and I updated it, and I knew that something had changed. A lot of things had changed, and I didn't really like what it was doing anymore. But I couldn't put my finger on it. I noticed that a lot of chunk loading doesn't work automatically like it used to. And I also noticed that a lot of times, like, weird things have been happening on chunk borders. Like all the endermen that I found on... There's a chunk border over here. So over here we had all the bees, right? And I don't know if there's like a bee spawner somewhere. I'm not sure. Over here, for some reason, over here way beyond the factory, like a good 50, 80 blocks... I think if they're still there, I don't know. There usually are just a whole bunch of endermen. There's still one. But this seems to be where they all teleport to. Or that's what I thought, because, you know, endermen can teleport. So I didn't give that much thought. I was like, oh, it's just where the endermen are teleporting to. That's interesting. But no, there were a ton of them. Like, what's causing me this much lag over here? Now I'm afraid. Like, am I gonna... load into a chunk with 487 wither skeletons? Who knows? Who freaking knows? So I'm really curious if it's the chunk loader mod that's doing weird things on bordering chunks that are not loaded. Seems like chunk loading has just kind of gone downhill as of late. Chicken chunks is still the most reliable, but I also don't like chicken chunks as models at all. So been trying to avoid that, but I may just have to suck it up. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. Not dozens of bees in the water. Definitely not that. So let's go ahead and get this put together. You've seen me do this before, but I'm going to do it again just as a refresher. I'm just going to put these laser drills decently far from my laser base, but not too far. We'll go ahead and destroy all of this dirt. And you'll see that they're going to start to show particles saying, hey, yeah, we detect a thing. They need power, though, and that's going to be why we need some sort of a cable. And I didn't bring the right kind of cable. Sorry, they're called pipes in this pack. So let's do that, and let us go ahead and set that up. So we're going to do, you know, we've got enough providers that we'll just do a kind of clean setup like this, because I think that looks a little better. So we'll do something like this, right? And then you'll see it's going to start to get something. So the progress bar is going to fill up. And you'll see that right now it's empty. I don't know if there's a depth that I have to be at. So minimum is 20, maximum is 60. So we need to drop this down some to maybe like, we'll do 48. And that's going to get us crude oil. And that is exactly what I want. So we're going to tell the output. So we're going to say no, 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 and push. And that's going to go into our crude oil dimensional tank, which is already set to frequency 5. So that means that it's automatically going to get processed into refined fuel. So that's the whole goal, right? Is that we wanted to be able to do something like this where we can get ourselves crude oil basically all the time. Now, this isn't very fast. If I remember correctly, you know, it's been a couple of days since I've recorded, so I'm already going to mix this up. One of these can take upgrades, and I don't remember which one can take which upgrades, but we're going to figure that out. I want to say efficiency goes into here, and then add-on speed goes into here. And so now that's going to go way faster, and we're going to start getting a lot more crude oil, and you can see we're already up to 300. So yeah, that should be just good to go. So now what we can do is we can head back over... Oh, right, the chunk loader. Forgot about that. I didn't actually check to put this all in one chunk, so knowing my luck, I put it in between 8 somehow. No, I didn't actually. Look at me. I did the good. So we will hop up onto here. Just like so, and we will reserve this one chunk, whatever that means. I've noticed that the chunk loading hasn't been working right. So we could, and I probably should, do some sort of a really cool barge build for this. So maybe I'll play with that a little bit once we make sure that everything is working. Because that would be really cool to have like a little barge build. I've never done one before, and I think that could be really interesting. I have a couple of ideas for that could go decently well. Especially with how much stuff is waterloggable nowadays. That could be really fun, actually. Alright, so let's head over here really quickly and make sure that everything's getting processed. I noticed that it's actually building up, so I'm a little concerned, actually. Oh, you contain liquid meat. That's odd. I wish you wouldn't contain liquid meat. But here we are. I am confused. I think I may have put liquid meat there on accident at some point, and then it just has been an ongoing issue. Anyways, you can see that as soon as I fix that now, it has been kind of going for it and going pretty fast. You know how these machines are decently upgraded. They're not kitted out all the way. I think I've already talked about that before as well, how I didn't really care about doing that. so yeah. Anyways, now we're producing infinite oil, which means infinite fuel, which will be very good if we decide to either do one of two things. We could produce more power using rocket fuel, or I keep on calling it rocket fuel because it is rocket fuel. It's fuel used for rockets, but it's just fuel. It's just fuel. Refined fuel is what it's called. So we could use refined fuel in a compression dynamo, right, to create more flux. And I might do that because we are, if I decided to turn on charging on my my infinity hammer, we'd have problems. And so I do think that some really nicely, highly upgraded dynamos running on, you know, anything, could be really good for power. But if we go to space, we can also get into a completely new type of power generation that I haven't even done before, ever. I've never done this. I've only done it in testing for this pack as I created it. So it would be a new process for you and I both. And I spent ages, I mean like 3 weeks, I think, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, I think, working on new textures for this mod. Let me grab some bone meal to clean this area up. But the mod is called Advanced Generators. And you'll notice that the textures are all, again, completely changed. So I think it would go really well with our little... Why are you doing this? There is some mod that's been acting wonky with the bone meal, too. Kind of hard to explain, but it is what it is. Anyways, yeah, I think the advanced generators will be a lot more suited for this build, the style that we have in here anyways. So I'm going to do a little barge build for our oil pump, and try my best not to slander big oil all that much in the process, I guess. Anyways, let me build some stuff, and I'll be back when we have something to look at that is pretty, hopefully, maybe, possibly. Alright, so I have been working on a bit of a design here. It's nothing particularly special. It could definitely use a little more work, but I thought it'd be fun to employ a powered lantern here. And I think if we do some catwalk and some it needs some wood. I feel like this needs some wood. So maybe some treated wood would be good, like some treated wood fence. We can play around with this a little bit here, and maybe go with a slightly different design. So what I've been doing to get the catwalk to go down a half slab is just using this kind of raised version instead, and then just using the go prone keybind, which is Z, to go sneak down. And I was thinking it would be kind of cool to do like a slight covering, like so, around like the edges here. And so yeah, so far this has kind of been working decently well. We can do something again here as well. And another one here. Fortunately, these catwalk blocks break really easily. Makes it really easy to build. Like I've been seeing it, and I know that it's a side effect of the changes in 1.18 for how blocks and tags kind of all work. But I've actually kind of grown fond of how block breaking is a lot easier for certain blocks because of that bug, or because of that change that people have not really properly updated for. And you know, it's not game breaking. It certainly is a little bit discouraging thinking like, oh, this should be working one way and it doesn't. But at the same time, like, yeah, does a catwalk probably need a pickaxe? I would say so. But you know, it's easier to break that way, and I kind of like that. So we can do some sort of like little covering for this, like so. We'll do something really quickly like this and bring these to me like so, just to kind of cover up all of this, you know, extraneous technology. And then I wanted to use a powered lantern for the first time. I don't think I've used one of these yet. And if the name doesn't imply already, they require power. So we're going to need to get power to this. I'm going to grab an entangled block for this one because I'm lazy and I've already got something that kind of works for this anyway. We'll also grab a pipe and we shall entangle you to you. I'm going to bring that with me. And if we go all the way down here, this is where the other laser miners are getting their power from. It's just down here. So we'll modify this and add that there and see if that's going to work like I expect it to. I don't know for sure. I want to say that these might require power from a wire. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be fickle or not. Let's see. And you know what? I was reading through this and I apparently misunderstood. I thought this. I remembered the whole no hostile mobs within 32 blocks. I thought that was also a lighting range of 32 blocks, but it is not. So we'll go ahead and not go this route for now. I'll probably use one of these sooner or later because they are pretty dang cool. But we'll probably just go with standard lanterns. We have a couple of varieties still. We might try the normal ones. I might try the copper ones. Let's just see. But yeah, this is the little barge that I've made so far. Not all that, you know, intriguing, not all that special, but it's something. Not really feeling these. Maybe we could even do something like this and just have them catty-cornered like that. And just leave it there, and then maybe have like, I wanted to show these off as well. I think these are pretty cool. So we've got normal fences. I think that's no surprise to anyone at all. But then there's also these, which are just railings, and I think these are pretty fun too. They're just short fences. But I think they're really cool. The only thing that I would really like is if they connected to full-size fences. I think that could be potentially really, really neat. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. So we can put a little lantern out here just to sort of, you know, show that there's stuff out here, I guess. One thing that I wanted to show, I've learned this secondhand from the Hermitcraft Create Let's Play. And I learned this somewhere else before that, but I don't remember where. So I'm going to go with the Hermitcraft Create Let's Play for now. If you take an axe, and it has to be a vanilla-ish axe for now, I don't think anything else works. You can take these beams and the supports, for example, a walnut support, and you can see there's a tooltip, and it doesn't, it caught me off guard. I think this is one of the first places I learned it from. But if you right-click this guy in the air while sneaking, you can actually rotate it and make it a different format entirely. So you can make it go from a outer to an inner or upside down, essentially, support. And of course, that's just one thing you can do with them, right? And then there's also, apparently, I didn't know this one either, if you place it down, and let's say you only want certain components, you can either right-click to spread or shrink them, right? So like, let's say I want something kind of interestingly shaped like this, or like this, I can do that. Or if I want to hide a specific component, I can just shift right click it. So if I wanted a thin plank to walk on, like just something really thin like this, I could absolutely do that. So I thought I'd share that with you guys as well, because I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, I think this will do for a barge. I know it's not all that fascinating, all that interesting, but I suppose it's something. It'll work for our intents and purposes, I would suppose at least. Let's go ahead and get these rotated real quick. And go ahead and clean up everything else there. And as we head over to this space and go into our little factory, we should see that we've got a decent bit of our refined fuel coming in. Yep, we are full there and filling up our secondary buffers as we speak. And for now, just kind of waiting for more crude oil to come in, and that's working out really, really, really well. So there are a couple of things that we can do to prepare for the space age. So we're not going to go to space this episode, but there are some things we're going to need to do that. So if we look at the NASA workbench, that's the first thing we're going to need in order to go to space. In fact, let's take a look at the quest book real quick just to remember where we want to be. So there's the ether-infused frames, which I'm surprised I haven't made one of these yet, but that's fine. We'll get into this whole thing at some point too, I'm sure, the black hole frames and stuff. And I haven't made a mega tool yet either. Probably could do that pretty easily, but I don't really need one because I just made the infinity tool, so I'll probably hold off on that. But there we have a Moonlander, the Martian. We have all these different things about going to different planets, which I think is especially fun. Let's go ahead and get started with our NASA workbench. You're going to see that that's going to be a pretty spicy recipe. It's not that bad. It's a lot of steel scaffolding, if I remember correctly. It's one of those machine frames, the Supreme machine frame. We're going to need one of these. And we're going to need some signalum plates. So let's go ahead and grab a good handful of those. I'll have to go craft those. But I think we should have almost everything we need to get this going. We're going to need more machines from Pneumatic Craft as well. But that is A-okay. So if we look at this, we're also going to need the assembly drill, the unit IO unit for import or export, either one, and then the assembly laser. So let's go ahead and try to get some of these. I don't know how much we're going to be able to do. I am a little bit curious how far this is going to go. We are literally just missing red glass. Honestly, that is the best case scenario. Do I have anything that I can make red dye with? Roads? That will work. That will work. And there we go. That's those three. I really thought that that was going to be harder. I'm quite grateful that that was pretty easy. So we'll do that, and we will multi-servo press these. And that should be really everything. We're going to need a crafting table. And we're going to need that Supreme frame. You can see our auto crafting is working really well so far. And if we head upstairs, we grab the signalum that we're going to need. And we take a look at this recipe one more time. All right, I think we're good. So we need 1, 2, 1, 2. There's a Supreme machine frame in the center with a 3x3 hollow surrounding that. Then we have 2 more and a crafting table, like so. And last, I keep going to the quest. It's not what I want. And then lastly, we have IO on the top. Then drill on the left and laser on the right. So drill on the left, laser on the right. Let's craft it. And there it is. That is the NASA workbench. This guy is super cool. It is enormous. As you can see, it's got a really big model. And so you can see I've got some stuff planned already through here for a large bit. But we still have a lot of space that we can use. And we will probably use a lot of this for like showing off the different rocketeers. Let me grab a couple of signs actually, because I think that could be really cool. So that was more signs than I meant, but still. So we could do like, if I made some launch pads, I think we could show this off pretty easily. It's going to require a little bit of work to get those. I forgot how expensive those were. We could use just some smooth stone slabs. I think that would work. Or, what's a slab I have a lot of? Oh, you know, cut andesite would probably work out pretty well. So we could do, what I have in mind is something like this, and we'll just do moon rocket here. We'll give some space, and then we can do maybe just like 1 block of space even would be enough. And I think that's still enough walking space, but I might push this back a little bit, maybe 1 more block. And you'll see why it has to be like this for now. But so then we'll have the Mars rocket. Then directly across, we'll have the other 2 rockets. So that will be our Merc Venus rocket, and then our Glacio rocket, like so. And then, somewhere in the middle, I was thinking we would do some of our advanced generation, but honestly, I don't really feel like advanced generation fits completely in this room the way I have it laid out. So why don't we do this? Why don't we put you right there? Look at that. Isn't that the coolest looking thing you've ever seen? And you open this up and you'll see that it actually has the whole frickin' rocket here. And so that's exciting. I think that's super cool. Now, that is only a part of it. At this point, we're also going to still want our... I'm going to change these up. So these are going to be advanced generator 1 and 2. We'll do 2 advents, or advgens, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. Just like that. And now we have an idea of where things will go. So why don't we try to get some of those launch pads? Because we're going to need one. We're going to need a lot, at least. So let's try out the launch pads. We also got an Earth globe, which is very exciting because we can use these in front of each one of our different little rover spaces here. Or not rover, sorry, rocket spaces here. And I'll just put this one right over here in front of you. Or actually, we could probably do it behind on a little cute table. How about that? Like so. That's good enough, I think. So we could do a rocket today. We have everything we need for it. They're not that hard to make, surprisingly. But how about we do a launch pad for now? We'll get, if I can get 5 of these, that would be great. So let's try to get that. I don't even know how many sturdy sheets I have. 2. That's not good. That's not good. Let me try to get some of this stuff, and I'll be back, and we can probably wrap it up once we have all those launch pads put down and everything kind of ready. So you know what? I was working on making this, and I realized we need way more stuff than is worth trying to get. So let's grab another chunk loader. And by stuff, of course, I do mean lava. I apologize. That was far too vague. I was making these. These each require half a bucket. I went and got 7 buckets. I've got half a bucket left because I made 15, or actually I made... How many did I make? 13? 12? I made a few. 13, I think, right? So I realized that we're just going to have to use so much lava that it is almost not worth it. So let me think. 11 is ether gas, right? So 12? Yeah, let's do 12. 12 is fine. And so this will be for lava. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell you to auto-eject. And then we don't even need anything between here and here. And we can just leave this running. I'm going to put some obsidian. We already have tons of it, so I'll just put a whole stack of that in there. In fact, here, have some more. I don't know why that was even there. And so, let's go to the nether and let us set us a system that will get us more and more and more and more and more lava than we could ever use. And in fact, so there are pipes, right? We already knew about these. There's fluid pipes. We already knew about these. But the pipes mod at Refined Pipes has attachments. So let's make one of these nice Enderium, or tier 3, but they're made from Enderium extractor augments, because I think that would be really helpful. Just to kind of get something put together like that. I don't know. Having these, the way that they work is a little weird, so having something like this to kind of demonstrate it might be a little easier to explain, at least for me. So the way that the hose pumps from Create work is they're actually magnificent in the sense that they are able to drain infinitely from any fluid source. It doesn't have to be lava. If that fluid source has 10,000 source blocks or more in it. And if you go to the nether, lava, clearly, there's tons of it. It's everywhere. Like, look at this. There's 10,000 source blocks here. I guarantee you at least 10,000 source blocks. So we're going to park it right here, and we're just going to go ahead and put a hose pulley down. And if we put it down, you're going to notice a couple of things. First of all, I'd like you to be rotated, so that's the first thing I'm noticing. You're going to notice a couple of things. You're going to have an input for rotation, and that is not always ideal, but the way that this works is really funny. You just have to rotate it until it can't rotate anymore, and that's almost immediately, so right there, and that's the end of it. And you don't have to keep on giving it rotational energy. You see, the rotation part is what's causing the actual pulley to go down to the right level, but that's not where the suction is coming from. I think this is the easiest way to explain it in a way that made sense, at least to me when I was trying to figure this out. So this is not where the suction is coming from. This rotation here is not suction. This is just unspooling the long hose, basically, into the lava. It's a fireproof hose. Think of it that way. So what will cause the suction is, well, a pipe that has pressure behind it. And normally you would use a create pipe, but since we have other mods, we have other pipes. And so we are going to use an advanced extractor augment to pull out lava from this hose pulley. And you can see, as soon as I started doing that, it says bottomless supply. The targeted body of fluid is considered infinite. And now you'll notice we have lava here. And we have infinite lava. And I don't have to keep pumping. I don't have to keep pushing. I don't have to do anything. This is just fine. I can leave it here. And I'm going to put this right here. And we're going to load this up just like so. And if I ever, by the way, need to go look at, what is it? There's the show... There's a map for chunk loading, and I don't remember what it is. What's the name of the mod? It's just chunk loaders, right? Yeah. I'm not sure what the command is. There is a command somewhere for showing the map of chunk loaded blocks, and I don't know where that has gone to. Building gadgets, food lists. I'm not sure. Anyways, this isn't really all that interesting anyways. I was just going to show you the map of all the things we have chunk loaded so that I could prove that we don't really need to, like, keep a mini map waypoint for where this is located at. It's not really all that helpful. Because we can just come see what's loaded where and just kind of run with that. So anyways, now we have an infinite lava source, and now this will be a lot easier to do what we need to do. With our what are these plates called? The sturdy sheets. So with those sturdy sheets, we can now, or with that lava, we can now make a bunch of infinite supplies of sturdy sheets if we wanted to, shy of, you know, the fact that we don't have infinite obsidian, but it is dang near infinite. And you'll see that this is going to, I did not fill that up. Shoot, give me just a moment. By the way, the keybind that I was looking for is U. If you just hit the U key, it'll bring this whole map up. It's not actually a command like I thought it was. It's just a keybind. So that's pretty helpful. It doesn't tell you like the height that a chunk loader is placed at, but I do remember that it was right down here. So that helps. Yeah, I didn't change this to private. And then this was 12, right? So that'll do. Now we should be good to go back home. And our temp pad is fully recharged as well. So that is, in fact, nice. I'm thinking about making the temp pad take flux or take something, maybe less time, because I don't really like where it's at right now. If you have any suggestions, do let me know. You know, I'm always open ears when it comes to that. Yeah, this is the only problem with this process is it's not actually properly automated. And so it might be worth doing that, because this is kind of a mess. So to do that, we would need some hammers, right? Sorry, a mechanical press. So we could get 2 of those really easily. And we would just need a belt. And what we could do is we could have a shaft from here to here, with a belt from here to here. 2 hammers Not really sure how we're going to get rotational energy to them, but we can always take this out and figure it out from there. Let's grab gray concrete. So we could do something like this, and then we would just have a chest or a something, doesn't really matter. Right here on like an andesite casing would work. Been really enjoying building with andesite casing now that it's not that expensive. An andesite funnel will work just fine there. And so now we just got to get this to rotate, and we'll be good to go. So let me get some rotational energy, and yeah, we'll make magic happen. Alright, so it's not much, but it's mine. It's what's here. And so now we can just toss this whole stack here, and that's going to start to process the whole thing, kick it all off. And yeah, for the most part, everything here is really, really autonomous. And then everything can just be picked out of this sturdy sheet, out of this tiny little hitbox of barrel that we can just barely reach. And so now we can craft with these. So hooray, we can now craft a handful of things. And this is what I realized was going to require more, was like I was looking at these and was like, oh crud, all of this is going to require sturdy sheets. So it's okay, it is what it is. But this is what we're going to go for today. Let me get these heat sinks, because we're going to need like 12 heat sinks. I'm actually going to need quite a few. We're going to need, no, 15. 15 is really all we need. So yeah, let's get these really quickly. And I will be back when I have them. Alright, so I did miscalculate. We're actually going to need 6, because once we're in space, we're going to need 1 to get back. So I got 6 of everything that we're going to need here. And let's go ahead and go for it. So this recipe is pretty straightforward. And we'll just do that. Again, doesn't need to be in this huge scale setup, but we already have everything put together here. And that's going to get us our first set of launch pads. And so this is what I meant when I said we're going to need some space, is you'll notice that we got 9 from that recipe. And that's because when you place them down, after it activates, you're going to see a rocket launch pad with a little center dot kind of there available to put your rocket on, essentially. And we'll need to repeat this a few more times. All right, y'all. Well, we got a lot done this episode. We've got all of our launch pads put here, and I went ahead and put them behind some railing, and I think they'll look really cool as far as the display segment goes, and we'll have like little shelves that float. We can use like little supports where we can do... Wait, what is this? Oh, crop supports, right. I don't know if there's some sort of like steel shelf unit that I could possibly figure out for that. Maybe like a floor grating or something would look okay if it was upside down. I have no idea. That actually looks really cool. I should have used that for the barge. But anyways, we got loads done today. We got infinite oil refinery working. We've got, as you can see, quite a bit of fuel coming in. Don't actually know why we're not getting more. I might need to go check in on that. I think we're the same numbers as we were beforehand. But aside from that, you know, we've gotten ready for our space expedition, and everything seems to be going really, really well. And we should be on track to go to space in the next episode. I think that'll be very fun. And, you know, we finally got our infinite lava setup running and moving and doing its stuff. And, again, I'm not certain what's going on out here. You're chunk loading, right? Oh, you're not chunk loading. I forgot to chunk load that one spot. That's why. That explains it. And I also forgot to tell you to push your output to the top. So that will do it. Anyways, you guys, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you very soon in the next one when we will go to space. See you then. Bye.